This is higher for chapter 2. In this chapter, we're going to be going over how to work at the missing sides and angles in non-right angle triangles using sine rule and cosine rule. We're also going to be going over how to work at the area of a triangle when the vertical height is not given. Exercise 2.1. Here we have a triangle. It's a non-right angle triangle. We have an angle, then another angle, and then a side. Now we have two formulas that we can use to work this out. Now this first exercise is covering sine rule. Now the formula for sine rule is A over sine A equals to B over sine B equals to C over sine C. Now when it comes to geometry, when we're dealing with shapes, any capital letter represents a vertex, a corner, or an angle. In this case, the capital A, capital B, and capital C all represent angles. Lowercase letters represent the sides. So if you're dealing with angle A, so let's say this is angle A, this is going to be lowercase a because it's opposite it. So if this is C, this is lowercase c. This is B, this is going to be lowercase b because it's opposite. So these two are paired up, these two are paired up, and these two are paired up. We need to know when to use sine rule. So sine rule is used when you have angle, angle, side, and angle, side, side. Over here we have an angle, angle, side, angle, angle, side. So we can use sine rule for all of them. So here in question 1, the only unknown side we need to work out is the one labeled as C. So to work out C, we need to find a complete pair where we have a side and the angle that is opposite it. So that's going to be 56 and 8. So you're going to write down 8 over sine 56 is going to equal to C over sine 37. Now to work out the value of C, we can cross multiply it, and that's going to be 8 times sine 37 equals to C times sine 56. So C times sine 56 equals to 8 times sine 37. So C is going to equal to 8 times sine 37 divided by sine 56. So C is going to equal to 5.81 meters. Now this is correct to 3 significant figures. Question 5. Find each angle marked with an asterisk. All lengths are in centimeters. Give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. Now we want to work out this angle here only. So angle ACB, and it's marked with an asterisk. So since we're dealing with sine rule, we're going to have A over sine A equals to B over sine B equals to C over sine C. Now this angle is paired up with this side here. This angle is paired up with the opposite side here. So when you pair them up, you can plug them into here. So you're going to have 8 over sine then that's going to be 10 over sine 47. Now we're going to cross multiply. Times it by 10 equals to 8 times sine 47. So now you're going to move the times sign to the other side. It becomes divide equals to 8 times sine 47 divided by 10. Now you just want this by itself, so we're going to take the sine to the other side. It becomes sine inverse. It's going to equal to sine inverse of 8 times sine 47 over 10. So when you plug this into the calculator, that's going to equal to 35.8 degrees, correct to 3 significant figures. Question 7. We have a triangle PQR and we need to work at the length of PR. So we're going to draw the triangle PQR. Now Q is 100 degrees, R is 21 degrees, and PQ is 3.1 centimeters. Now you want to work at the length of PR. So we're going to put X over here. Now this angle on this side are paired up. This angle on this side are paired up. That's going to give us 3.1 over sine 21 equals to X over sine 100. So you cross multiply, or you could just simply take sine 100 to the other side. It becomes times. So that's going to equal to 3.1 over sine 21 multiplied by sine 100. X is going to equal to 8.52 centimeters. This is exercise 2.2. In this exercise, we're going to be covering cosine rule. Now the formula for cosine rule is a squared equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Now this is used when we have all three sides, or if you have side, angle, side. So let's see. We have a triangle LMN, LMN. The length of L to M is 5.3 centimeters. M to N is 7.9, and the angle M is 127 degrees. Side, angle, side, so we of course have to use cosine rule. Now we're going to substitute the values inside here. Now since we're asked to work at the length of Ln, we're going to label this as X. So this small side here is opposite this angle here. So if this was A, this would be capital A. So we're going to have X squared equals to, now B and C don't really matter, these are the two adjacent sides to the angle we're using. So 5.3 squared plus 7.9 squared minus 2 times 5.3 multiplied by 7.9 cos 127. Now to work out the value of X, all you have to do is square root this side, and then you square root the whole of this, and this should give us 140.89599. Now let's round it to the root of 140.89599. When we square root it, that's going to give us 11.9 centimeters to the nearest 1 decimal place. Question 4. In this question, we're going to be using cosine rule to work out a missing angle. Now the missing angles here are marked with an asterisk, so let's replace the asterisk with an X. Now, if you look at the examples, you're given a rearrangement of the initial formula, and this rearrangement makes the angle the subject. So it's a lot easier to work out the missing angles if you memorize this formula here. So cos A is going to equal to B squared plus C squared minus A squared divided by 2BC. Now remember, A is what? A is the sign opposite the angle we're using. So it's going to be 4 centimeters because it's opposite this angle. So you're going to have cos X equals to, now B and C don't really matter, these are the two adjacent sides to the angle we're using, or in this case working out. So you're going to have 7 squared plus 9 squared minus 4 squared divided by 2BC. Now remember, you're working at the value of X, so we're going to take cos to the other side, and cos becomes cos inverse. So X is going to equal to cos inverse, and you plug the numerator into the calculator, we get 114 divided by 126, and you plug the denominator into the calculator. So now you're going to put cos inverse of 114 over 126, and this should give us 25.2 degrees, correct to 3 significant figures. Now this is for question 4. Exercise 2.3. We're going to be learning how to work at the area of a non-right angled triangle. So the first thing we need to know is the formula. So area is going to equal to 1/2 times AB sine C. Now to understand what the formula is saying, we need to look at the triangle. So whichever angle you're going to be using, you have to use the two sides that are adjacent. So we're going to substitute this angle in here, and the two adjacent sides will be A and B. So the area of the triangle is 1/2 times A times B sine C. So you plug this into the calculator and you're going to get 23.5 square centimeters. Question 5. The area of triangle ABC is 59.8. Work at the length of BC. So the formula is area equals to 1/2 AB sine C. So if this is the angle we're using, the two adjacent sides are here. So BC is one of the adjacent sides. So let's label it as X. So area, we can replace it with 59.8. And that's going to equal to 1/2 times A, 11.8, times it by X, and sine 32. So we want to work at the value of X, so we take everything else to the other side. So 1/2 of 11.8. So you're going to have 59.8 equals to, so 1/2 of 11.8 times sine 32. So when you multiply the two, that's going to give us 3.126523659, and then you have X over here because you're multiplying everything here. Now you just take this number to the other side. X is going to equal to 59.8 divided by 3.12, and then the full value here. X is going to equal to 19.1 centimeters. So this is correct too. 3 significant figures. Exercise 2.4. Now in this exercise we're going to be going over what we've already covered. Now these are combination questions. Like question 1 here, we need to identify which formulas we need to use. Now we can see we have a right angle triangle and a non-right angle triangle. Now what do we use in the non-right angle triangle? Would it be sine rule or cosine rule? How do we identify when to use which formula? So if you want to find out when to use sine rule and when to use cosine rule, you need to remember some rules. So when you have a triangle and you have angle side side, you can use sine rule. Or if you have an angle, another angle and a side, cosine rule is used when you have side 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 or side angle side. Now in this triangle here we have one side and another side. We don't have enough information to work out either x or y. Now let's look at this triangle here. We have a side and an angle, and this is a right angle triangle, so we can use SOHCAHTOA to work out the value of x, because x is a common side for both triangles. So that's going to be our first step. So we start with this triangle here. So this is my angle, so this is my opposite, hypotenuse and adjacent. So we have adjacent and we want to work out the opposite. So we're going to use TOA. So tan 30 is going to equal to x over 6. X is going to equal to tan 30 times 6. Pop it into the calculator and you're going to get 3.464101615. Now the question says give your answers to 3 significant figures. Now the reason why I wrote the full value first, because I'm going to have to use this value again when working out the value of y. So let's round it to 3 significant figures. That's going to be 3.46 centimeters. Now here we have side, 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 because we just worked out the value of x. So if you have all 3 sides, we can use cosine rule to work out the missing angle. Now remember, there's a rearranged formula for the missing angle. So cos A is going to equal to b squared plus c squared minus a squared divided by 2bc. Now we can take cos to the other side, it becomes cos inverse. So cos inverse. So remember, instead of x, we're going to be instead of a, we're going to be writing y. So y is going to equal to cos inverse of b squared plus c squared. Now if this is the angle you're working out, the 2 adjacent sides are going to be b and c. So 8 squared plus 7 squared minus 3.46 squared. Divided by 2bc. When you pop this into the calculator, we're going to get 25.606206672. And we're going to round this to 3 significant figures. That's going to give us 25.6. Now this is in degrees. Question 5. Here we have a triangle and we need to work out the area. So to work out area, we're going to do half AB sine C. Now how do we know this is what we need to do? Because when you look at the triangle, we don't have a right angle and we don't have the vertical height, but we do have side angle side. So that means we have to use this formula. So area is going to equal to half times 8 times 9 times sine 100. Pop this into the calculator. We're going to get 35.45307911. Round it to 3 significant figures. That's going to be 35.5 centimeters square. X is a point on PR such that QX is perpendicular to PR. Calculate the length of PR. Give your answer correct to 3SF. So here we want to work out the length of PR. This whole line here. Now to do that, what can we do? So we have side, angle, side. So which formula are we going to use? We're going to be using cosine rule. So a squared equals to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Now over here, this is the angle we're using, and this is the side we're working out. So this is going to be the two adjacent sides. So that is A and B. PR squared is going to equal to 8 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 times 8 times 9 cos 100. Now you square root this, you square root this. So PR is going to equal to the square root of 170.0053376. That's going to equal to 13.0386095. Rounded to 3 significant figures, that's going to be 13.0 centimeters. Question C. Calculate the length of QX. Give your answer to 3SF. So QX is this line here. Now if you look at this sentence, X is a point on PR such that QX is perpendicular to PR. So if it's perpendicular, that means that this is a right angle. So this is a vertical height. Now, how are you going to work out the vertical height? Now, you have to think outside the box. If I have the area over here, 35.5, and that's the area of this whole shape, can I not do base times height divided by 2 equals to area? And I just need to work out the value of h. Now, do we have the base? The base here would be PR. That's what we worked out in question B. So we can substitute that value here. We can substitute the area here. And then we can work out what h is. So area is going to equal to base times height divided by 2. We're going to plug in the values. So you have 35.45307911 equals to 13.0386095 times the height divided by 2. So we take 2 to the other side, it becomes multiply. So 13.0386095 h equals to 70.906, so on. H is going to equal to 70.906 divided by 13.03 86095. So H is going to equal to 5.438168711. Now we need to round it to 3SF. That's going to be 5. So do we round the 3 up? We do, because the number after it is 5 or more. 4 centimeters.